Welcome back to the Ozark Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Veet, joined as always by co-host of the show and my good buddy, Kyle Plunkett.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to the tech station.
We're here.
Yeah.
It's been a little while.
It's been a minute. It always feels like it's been a while since we've done these because we're out hitting the road, exploring the Ozarks.
Yeah, talking with people, learning about drone research and talking to deer hunters. And
Man, some really good deer
all kind
hunters.
of good stuff.
Oh my goodness. Some of the stuff that we've been covering lately it's really changed my mind on a lot of stuff, honestly.
Agree.
I have gone to new places in my mind thinking about why deer do what they do in the Ozarks and how to use that to my advantage.
And it's hopefully making you a better deer hunter.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll get to it in some of the real reactions and even what people thought of some of our guests. But it's been really cool to, learn from a guy like Brian who just knows how to kill huge deer, but then also go and learn from a guy like Derek who knows how to watch really big deer.
Yeah.
And also kill really big deer.
Right.
But, he's done all the research on it. It's just neat. It's some neat stuff to figure out how bedding works and thermals work. And it was cool having one guest and then also having somebody back it up really the next 2 weeks with his research and how deer use the terrain that they do and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a fun deer season of deer topics for us, I feel like, this year.
You just gotta love deer season. Like, this is some of this content that we talk about is some of my favorite. I know our audience loves it. We'll get to the real reactions. So let me do that. Let's just go through the agenda real quick.
Let's do it.
We're gonna go. This is our normal check station concept. So we're gonna start with the Hither and the Yonder.
Yep.
Talking about news here and there. Then we're gonna go into real reactions. Then we're going to come back at you with Shootin from the Hip, which is one of my favorite segments, too, because we just get to, fire away at some crazy ideas that we've been thinking about.
Shootin from the Hip.
Shootin from the Hip. And then we'll wrap it up with our bread and butter, the check station. And
it's our stories.
And that's what we got.
Old-fashioned check station.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, this time of year, just talking deer hunting and learning from people, I think this is really, if you think about it, back to kind of one of our origin stories of starting the podcast, maybe why we like it so much is because this was one of the things that we were like, man, I wish I was a better deer hunter in the Ozarks. It seems like it's so hard to consistently find mature whitetail and target them and hunt them. Mm-hmm. But then you look around and you got old timers, and some are not old timers. Some are guys who, young guys who are out there getting it done. And you're like, what are they doing that is making them so consistent at having success and seeing these big deer?
Yep.
And it turns out it's not just hillbilly magic.
It's not.
There's some science and there's some rhyme to the reason. And or some reason to the rhyme. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that works. Either way.
So there's something to it. And so I just love unpacking and talking to guys who they can make it simple. They can explain what they're doing and why it works and what's happening.
It's great. Bread and butter Ozark podcast stuff.
It's good stuff, man.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, should we jump into the Hither and Yonder?
Let's do it, man. So I made a promise to you guys last time we did the Hither and Yonder, and that promise was I'm going to bring some good news. And so I do have some good news. I'm not going to start with it right now, but just hold on, because we're going to talk about some things that maybe aren't good news, but I am going to have some because we promised you good news, and we're going to deliver that, even if it's a small thing. But the first story that I want to talk about was kind of a public service announcement. Probably a lot of people have already heard this, but if you're not in the fishing world in the Ozarks, you might have missed this. But there have been put in place some emergency trout regulations on the White River and trout water in the Ozarks, at least in Arkansas. And it's 120-day temporary regulations that they've put in place to, what they're saying is the hatcheries are going to be unable to fulfill the need for trout in the White River. Mm-hmm. And so they're implementing a temporary catch and release only regulation on a big chunk of the White River over in North Arkansas, like Trophy, White River area, from Bull Shoals Dam all the way down to the confluence of the North Fork where it runs into the White. It's a catch and release only. Now, that's a big deal, okay? Because that whole area over there, this is like one of the main industries, right? Like this is why people go over there for a lot of reasons. So that's a big deal. And then on this kind of surrounding areas and other trout areas on like Beaver Lake, below Beaver Lake, the tailwater, and then Greer's Ferry, they've moved to a 2 catch limit. And so that's a ton. I mean, they've really reduced the number of trout that you can catch. And so, one, that's just something to be aware of. If you like to go catch fish and keep them and eat them, bring them home, like me, like I like to do that and fry them up, like be aware. Don't do that because you'll get in trouble if the game warden sees you. And I think really what they said was like, obviously I don't think they want to do it. I think it's kind of what they're doing to make the best experience possible for people, rather than like having a bad experience for everyone going and catching fish and keeping them, and then
there's no fish.
There's no fish in a couple months. It's like at least people are catching fish, and like there's still a reason to go, over there and travel and book the cabin and book the guide, and so that's what's going on.
And that's all because of flooding, right?
Is that what it was? I really didn't even dive into the background of.
I'm pretty sure it was all the rain was messing up all the hatcheries.
The hatcheries,
and things just got thrown way out of whack.
Yeah.
So they can't fulfill.
Yeah, man.
All the stuff. This sounds right. Don't quote me on that, anybody, but that sounds right.
It's it makes you realize like just how dependent we are on the hatcheries. If in just a matter of a couple of months that we would not have enough fish in there to like have an enjoyable day on the water. It just tells you like how many fish they put in there. Every single year. And like,
it's like, I mean, all the rainbow you're catching. For the most part, it's coming out of a hatchery.
And I do believe that there is some natural spawning happening.
Definitely.
But clearly it's not enough to like get even close to keeping up with the amount of fish that we're pulling out.
It also shows how many people keep fish.
Yeah.
Which is good. They should.
Yeah.
But that it could be that bad that quickly. And we can't keep fish again until like mid-February.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Mid-February. That's when it ends. Yep. Yeah. So anyways, so there's that. Keep that in mind.
Is that our only bad news?
For now.
I think it might be.
Is that our only bad news? Did we do good?
We promised good news.
We did promise good news. I think that might be. Yeah.
I think that's it.
We're going to leave it at that. That's our only bad news.
Perfect.
So we're getting to the good news. You ready?
Yep.
So I think a while ago, it might not have been the last one, but maybe the one before that, we talked about CWD.
A lot.
we fully covered it. And it was after a big study that came out in the Ozarks down by the Buffalo. And it was a 5-year study that basically said 50% of deer down there that they tested have CWD. Almost 70% of bucks have it.
Yep.
And like 40% of does. It was like, oh, shoot. It's everywhere. And so my good news of the day is 100% of the deer that I have had tested this year are negative for CWD.
It's great news.
It's a small sample size.
It's great news for you.
For me.
100% of the deer that I've had tested, I can eat.
I can eat. And so that's a sample size of 2. And so it's not overwhelming evidence or nothing to take away from that other than
that's great.
Where I'm hunting at, and those specific deer, they didn't have it.
I think that's awesome.
So
test your deer. I guess is what you're telling people to do. But
I'm saying
if you'd like,
if that's your thing and you want to know before you eat it, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
and hope that it's negative.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So that's
100% of your deer. Well, that's good. In
there's the study.
Other Hither news. I'm going to call the AGFC hotline for the bar quota.
Yes.
And see where we're at as of, what's today?
Today is November the 18th.
As of November 18th.
2025. And the moon phase is a... You don't know this, Kyle?
I don't know this.
You don't even watch the moon.
Let's see. I think this is the right number. What's the moon phase?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were checking on it.
I am.
Thank you for calling the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission's Wildlife Information Hotline. Information on the hotline is updated as changes occur. To report a poaching violation or incident, or to request a call back from a wildlife officer, or to check an alligator, please press 1. For help with deer, elk, or bear game check, please press 2. For the latest hunting regulations changes, please press 3. For the alligator zone quota status, please press 4. For the bar zone quota status, please press 5. For the elk zone.
5. The bar zone.
280 bears have been harvested in Bear Zone 1, and modern gun bear hunting remains open for Bear Zones 1 and 2. All other bear zones are currently closed.
So there you have it.
There you have it. 280.
Not many.
Not many. And that's an accumulation from the last time we called, which was October 1st, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I kept that. It was 200 bears.
So 80 more bears.
So only 80 bears in the last month and a half.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not many bears.
No, it's not. But there you have it. 280 bears. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So as you're going out, and if you're hunting, always call. Always call.
But it sounds open.
But it sounds like it's probably going to be open.
Sounds like you're probably okay.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. You know what? That was our friend Spencer Daniels, who you actually interviewed a couple of weeks ago, a month or two ago.
Yep.
And he was on there. We never even talked about this. The mountain lion that was killed.
Yeah.
We never talked about that. Down near.
That sounds like a good Hither news segment.
Yeah, I just forgot. I didn't even write it down. Okay, so down near Malvern, Arkansas, there was a mountain lion hit on the road and killed.
Yep.
And this was back in, I believe it was in September. I was texting Spencer about this. Beautiful Tom, weighed 160 pounds. I've got a picture of it, and maybe we can post it or you can look it up. It's been a while now since this happened, but there's a picture of this mountain lion laying on the road, tail to tail, kind of widthwise, and the yellow stripe to the white stripe, double yellow in the middle, white stripe on the right side as you're driving down. That's 12 feet. And this mountain lion takes up, it almost reaches all the way across, head to tail.
That's wild.
Big old animal. 170 or 160 was the weight. AGFC gave the carcass to Henderson State to study and gene tests and all that. And yeah, so he got hit, and really, I think there's been the misnomer that that AGFC says that like there are no mountain lions in Arkansas. Like that's kind of been, but what we know is that they don't claim or to have any evidence of a breeding population of mountain lions in Arkansas. And so I think a lot of people probably saw that and were like, see, proof, like they're there. It's like, well, we know that there's transient males passing through the state all the time, and they move around a lot. But it's kind of wild. I think what Spencer was saying, that there has been an uptick. So they've confirmed 48 lions since 2010, and there has been a slight uptick in recent years. But a lot of them are likely the same lion based on locations and timing. But there have been more people reporting them recently. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's interesting. It kind of makes you a little bit like watch your back when you're out there in the woods, because they are there. I'm not going to say that they're not. So anyways, that's the news.
I've told our mountain lion story before, but they're there.
They're definitely there.
They're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So
and it's a big cat.
It is a big old cat. So there's the Hither. What do we got? What do we got for the Yonder today? Some more good news. Hopefully.
Yonder is two fun pieces of news coming out outside of our corner of the world called the Ozarks, and that's that Florida has a December bear season. It's a 2025 bear season, and it's like 180 something tags are given to hunters, and it has caused quite the stir in the conservation world, because the anti-hunters who think that hunting a bear is terrible and unethical and all of the stuff absolutely hate that Florida's opened up a bear season. So there's been reports of groups of non-hunters trying to buy all the tags. There's been pushbacks on baiting and on private land and the number and all that kind of stuff. But the win for the management and for really the resource for the bears themselves is that there's a season now, the first one in like a decade. That's opened up in Florida.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That's a win for hunters. It's a win for bears.
It is.
And honestly, the kind of the ironic thing, if you think about the anti-hunters who bought tags so that people who hunt bears can't kill them, is they're just gonna make now there's more bears.
Yeah, they're just funding.
And now they're gonna probably raise the quota, and there's more funding for bear research and bear management. And it's like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't fault anybody for doing what they think is right and wanting to, especially people who don't know that hunters are the primary management tool for state agencies and the lovers of wildlife. Like the reason public lands exist the way they do, and deer exist the way they do, and bears exist the way they do, and waterfowl exist the way they do, and all the populations that we love to see and interact with and be around, the fish, the reason game fish exist the way they do is because of sportsmen and women who value the resource and fund it. And so, yeah, I can see some, people who don't like it and not going to fault them, but it's also it's interesting to know and to note that we have what we have because of hunters. Mm-hmm. We have what we have because of anglers. And yeah, it's a win for bears, a win for Florida, a win for the sport happening over there in the southeastern corner of the state and or the country. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited for them.
I love it. That's some great news.
It's a great yonder. And in other news, this one's real yonder, about as yonder and down under as it gets.
Oh,
but Australia has just opened up 320,000 acres of parkland, government land, for deer hunting.
Norway.
That was weak.
Norway.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
How many acres?
320,000 acres of national parks to be unlocked for deer hunting.
Oh man, that is awesome.
And the deer, I was doing a quick what deer are in Australia kind of thing. And there's red deer, sambar deer, fallow deer. I don't even have to say that. Chital, Chital.
Okay.
That's a deer. Indian hog deer, rusa deer, axis deer. Like there's a bunch of types of deer.
Wow.
And I think Australia is one of those places where a bunch of these deer were just brought in from other places and they've just taken off, kind of like Hawaii.
Yeah.
So they need to be managed.
They got a lot of deer down there.
But I maybe would have said in the past that like a Yukon moose hunt is the dream hunt. Like if I had to pick one, that would be it. And it might still be like flying on a float plane or float a canoe, that kind of thing. But now I'm starting to think a red deer, like a red stag in Australia, might be like the bucket list hunt for me.
That would be pretty cool.
It would be nuts.
Yeah.
And I mean, they look like elk and they're huge.
I would imagine that they would have to be in like a mountainous region
of
Australia.
Or anywhere that looks kind of like New Zealand.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure, a lot of Australia.
Yeah.
But that'd be nuts.
That would be
big,
cool.
huge, loud red stag. They
Yeah.
bellow and talk, and it's kind of like an elk. I don't know, elk deer.
I was thinking you were going to say the hog deer.
No, I don't really care. I was looking at
now,
those.
number one on my list is
they're
now the
small,
Australian hog deer.
Yeah, squatty, and they're named that because they run like a pig.
They look like a
which
pig
is
when
just
they run.
really funny. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine a red stag hunt in Australia?
That'd be
How cool that'd be.
That would be pretty epic.
But yeah, 320,000 acres is big.
Hey.
And is on their national parks, and now it's open for recreational deer hunting.
I don't know a lot about, and I wish I did, and I should do some research. I wish I knew more about hunting in other countries outside of America. Like what is the hunting scene in Australia?
I bet it's cool.
Is there a culture there around it?
It's got to be.
Do they do deer camp the same way? Do they? I don't know. What are their regs?
Yeah, I mean, some of the quick numbers was like there's like 500,000 hunters, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a crazy huge number, but it's also not a crazy populated place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's a whole country, but there's a lot of land mass of Australia that is like not.
It's kind of like
populated.
The American West, like it's sparsely. It's spread out,
and so it seems like a pretty decent number of people who are into it.
Yeah,
but yeah, if anybody here, is listening and you live in Australia for some reason.
We do have people that do that. It's kind of crazy.
I come out with you. I'm just saying. I'll invite you to my deer camp if you want to invite me to yours.
Yes, yeah. Send us a note. I want to know more about what y'all do down there.
That'd be really neat.
Or over there, yeah, down there, over there,
down under.
Down under.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
That is very cool.
So another win for conservation management practices as a whole.
Look at that.
Deer hunting's opening up.
We're lifting people's spirits. We're not full of bad news this time.
It's not all CWD.
All right, let's get to real reactions. Okay, this is us really reacting to your real reactions of our reels. That is what we do.
I love that we open it like that every time.
It's the tagline. It's got to have something.
Yeah, it's good.
So, man, this last month, I guess, since we've done the last check station, like we said, talking a lot of deer. You guys love deer. The internet loves deer content. And so we've got 3 pieces of content that are related to deer and deer hunting. And this first one just went gangbusters on social media. This is probably the biggest one we've had in a while. This one had 2.2 million views across our social media platforms. And it was our interview with Brian Slane.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is.
During the rut, look for these little bucks. They matter. That buck right there is one of them that come from this method. What I'm trying to find is that little bitty spike or 4-pointer or 6-pointer early in the morning, leaving a spot, a woodlot, a something. What happens is them bucks will chase them does around, and what he is trying to do, and can you see this right here? This is a road. This is a big woods on this side of the fence row. And this over here on this side of it is huge. 1/4 to 1/2 mile of nothing but openness. And the wind is this way. It's a setup. The bucks are sharp. They know exactly how to set these does up. What he's trying to do is get her downwind of everything. And if anything was this way, it would be a miracle to find him. He don't want no competition. So the key is I'm looking for that little spike, that little 4-pointer. And what he's doing is he's leaving that. And he's going to get where he can see this. Yeah, glass that dude. I mean, I'm looking him over. And I am looking to see if he'll ever look back. If he'll ever look back, 9 times out of 10, that other buck is standing there.
So if he's looking back, you're going to be looking back to where he was looking. Head towards the direction the small bucks are coming from to find the big bucks because they're keeping those does pinned up. Some good deer wisdom right there.
There you have it. And I just want everyone to know, if you watch that or you listen to that video and you're like, who's this guy? What's he talking about? Let me just say, Brian Slane is the real deal. You may have never heard of him. Some people had who listened. They were like, I've always heard of this guy, and I'm so glad you guys finally talked to him. You may have never heard of him, but the wall of deer that we saw at his place, that was in the shot, not in the shot, around in different rooms, it's just, you can't argue it. Like, you may not agree, you may not like the style, you may not think that it makes any sense or whatever. You may have your own opinions, but you can't argue the results.
Nope.
Just point blank.
Agree. So I just wanted to start with that. This specific topic, this is an interesting one. I think that I have not seen this play out in my own hunting experience. But the logic makes sense. And I think that, like, yeah, if you have a big buck that is guarding a doe and keeping other little bucks away, that it makes total sense. I think the challenge that you probably find is like, as you're looking for that, is like actually finding that and seeing that, being able to see far enough without being close enough to, like, you know, seeing far enough away to, like, see this all taking place without being so close that, like, they're going to see you and spook it. That's probably the challenge that most people are going to have in trying to implement a scouting setup like this or something like that. I've seen it play out, but not where it's a hidden buck tending to a doe, like hold up or hit up. But, a little buck comes running by and it's looking behind it, looking kind of stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden a doe and a big buck come out.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just kind of when the woods are alive and things are moving, and it's the, peak craziness of the chase phase of the rut, all that kind of stuff. But the longer part of that conversation was he's talking about big open woodlots or fields or, those edges areas where you could, and his whole story is he was driving around seeing little bucks doing that, and then was kind of making note, I'm going to go back here and hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be a big buck hold up with a doe, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's, great tactic. Because I've always thought you just look for the doe that's looking behind her because she's being chased.
Right.
So if you have a doe running through pretty quick, looking behind her, get ready. Things are getting a little crazy. But no, to have a little buck do the same thing, it's a great tactic.
Yeah, it gives you one more thing to look for. Like you're looking for the doe too, but you're also like, oh yeah, that spike is looking kind of funny. It's looking back.
It helps you not just ignore the small deer. That was another point he was making, is everything's data. Like everything's going to help. And so you can't just write it off of, it's a little forky, or it's a little spike, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Watch
it. What is it doing? How is it interacting even with the land? What's it doing with the thermals? Is it being chased? Is it being pressured? Is it chasing something? Is it crossing doe paths? Is it doing all of that stuff? And it'll just get you a better read on the land.
Yeah. 100%.
That's good.
All right, our next one is this one from Brian Slane as well. This one did 548,000 across the socials and got a lot of comments. And this one was, I think, probably a more controversial one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play it.
I don't think I've ever walked to a tree stand in the dark.
What?
Unpack that for a second.
Hold on. You really don't like.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. How much time do you have? You see a wind switch is coming in the weather. How much time?
You have hours.
Yeah.
In a thermal switch, you have at least, I'm going to say 2 to 3 hours, in a thermal switch, because you got to remember that wind is sucking down that hill. You got to have something that's going to switch that, and it takes heat or it takes a predominant wind to actually do something. And if it's on that one side, it takes it a long time.
How about that?
That did not make sense to me when we were interviewing him.
Yeah.
Which is why I asked him to explain.
Yeah.
Because I had never heard that before.
Yeah. No, that's almost like, I saw a few comments on this. It was like, that's a tradition.
That's what you do.
This is what you do. You walk to the tree stand in the dark. And it's so, the point of saying that is like, it's so ingrained in so many people. That's like, I wouldn't even put that on the table of things to consider, of like tools in my tool bag, things that I could do, options that I have to hunt. That's kind of like the thing that you're just like, yeah, get there in the dark before the sun comes up so you don't get busted or spook the deer. Sit there and wait for a big deer to walk out.
So I've been thinking about this one for now like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think I've figured it out.
Okay.
Like I figure out why he says this.
Okay.
Because I'm with you. You walk into the dark. It's what you do.
Yeah.
You walk into the
This
dark.
is what everyone
It's
says.
how you hunt.
How you were taught.
If you're hunting like me and 99% of people who deer hunt, you should walk in the dark or you're going to mess something up. Because if you're hunting like me and most people who hunt deer in the Ozarks, you probably have, if you use cameras, some deer on camera. You probably have a whole bunch of deer you don't know about who aren't on camera. You probably have a couple of good spots that have produced over the years for different reasons. And you probably have a decent idea of how deer generally move and work through the Ozark terrain, right? And so your tactic is to get into a good spot before deer are up and moving around, or before legal shooting light, because you can't shoot them when they're moving around in the dark, and use the terrain and use the pinch points and use the doe moving around and use whatever to your advantage.
In the stealth of night.
The stealth of
cover
night,
of darkness.
To hope that a big old buck walks in at 7:08
Yeah.
a.m. or whatever. And a whole bunch of big deer have died that way.
Mm-hmm.
I've killed a bunch of big deer who have died that way. Right? Like that, it makes sense.
Yeah.
The reason that tactic wrestled so many people's feathers and the reason people were like, what is he, who even is this guy?
Yeah.
Is his like primary way of hunting is fundamentally different than most people who deer hunt. And it is patterned deer on scrape lines.
Rub lines.
Rub lines. Not even, he didn't even hunt scrapes. That's right.
Yeah.
Rub lines. So torn up trees. Patterned deer on rub lines using intel from cameras, and then knowing the phases of, knowing wind direction, wind speed, and thermals, and knowing when those switch, meaning knowing that the deer is going to go to the other side of the mountain or the other spot, wherever, that the thermals and the wind is in that deer's favor to hunt.
Right.
And those switches don't happen until midday or late afternoon or whatever. And so in the longer part of that conversation, when he's saying, I'm not even hunting on that side of the mountain because there's no reason to be over there, it took me weeks, honestly, of chewing on it to finally figure out why all that made sense. And it's because they may or may not be over there, but you can't even go hunt them because they're going to bust you.
Yeah.
They're going to win every time.
Yeah.
He's waiting on the switch to use the switch to his advantage to get into a spot, into the tree while the switch is happening, to then have the bucks come that way because that's where they want to go when everything switches.
100%.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And it honestly, it truly took chewing on it. And I listened to our own episode a couple of times to chew on it more, to say, okay, that's why he's doing that. That's why he's getting in the stand at 10 o'clock. And he kills more deer from 10 to 2 than probably just about anybody we know.
Yeah.
Because he's hunting a deer that he's after, and he knows it's going to be in that spot the next time the wind switches or whatever, which is fascinating.
So fascinating.
I can't hunt like that because I don't have that kind of data. I could. I just don't. I don't collect that kind of data.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't even, for me to not go get in the stand before daylight would be silly. I would just be blowing up the woods. For Brian Slane, who knows what he's doing, it is like the perfect tactic. And he kills massive deer every year.
Yeah.
Tags out on them.
Him.
And then brings other people to do it.
And all of his friends. Dude, after we recorded that episode, he sent me, over the next like 3 or 4 days, he sent me, I think, 4 pictures of he had a niece, I think 2 of his nieces and a girl who's a cousin or something like that, and then one more girl who's like a friend of a friend, and they all killed monster deer using his tactics and in places where he put them.
Yep.
Within a week. I'm talking like an 8-year-old girl to like a 20-year-old girl, like and there was a guy in there too. Like they're just
huge deer,
killing them.
Yeah.
Like big, mature 140 plus deer.
Yep.
And again, you can't argue with it.
No, you can.
And it was I get why it's controversial. I get why people, and of course, you saw all the comments is like, I've killed all of my big deer in the first minutes of daylight where it's because I got there in the dark and they walked out right at shooting light.
Sure.
It's like, yes, of course. And that works too. Just a different style, a different tactic, and it works too.
Well, and the fact that he has it, he can replicate it so easily, makes me want to figure out how to do it more for next season.
Yeah.
Start putting out cameras in October on a bunch of rub lines and looking for the switch.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Because, all of my big deer, except for a few, have been the first hour after daylight.
Yeah.
Truly. And so that's my style. That's how I grew up doing it. That's how I was taught. That's what I have to do, I think, because I don't know how to do it the other way.
Yeah.
But I'm learning from Brian.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to take his tactics in the woods with me this next year.
I'm just so glad guys like Brian are willing to be generous and share that stuff, because it'd be so easy for him to sit back on that and just be like, just killing big deer all the time, and people just look up to him like, wow, how do you do it? And
hillbilly magic.
He just never shares, and it's that hillbilly magic.
But no, he's willing to share.
Yeah. So that's I love talking to Brian. That was fun. Okay, last one we got here, talking about the October lull and nocturnal bucks. This was with Derek Dixon of Whitetail Research.
Some of the common myths around October, November deer hunting, and what some of the research is showing to be either true or not true.
Yeah, I mean, the October lull is like one of my favorite subjects. The October lull and the belief system behind it, it merges with nocturnal bucks, cold fronts. I mean, everyone's heard, you got any daylight pictures of him? Is he daylight active now? It's like, yeah, he's daylight active. He's always daylight active. I wish I could just scream that to everybody. It's like, there is not a nocturnal buck. I've never seen it. GPS color studies have never seen it. Every buck that I've ever seen, they're always daylight active. The connection that I started drawing with the lull mentality and nocturnal bucks is temperature. everything seems to be driven by temperature. I started really paying attention to this. On days that are like 70 degrees or hotter, they're very, very inactive. They didn't move until the last 30 minutes of light. Hardly moved that morning. It was like 68 degrees. And there's a cold front coming in for the next morning. Woke up early in the morning, got out, and every single deer was up on their feet. Every single buck, young, old, mature, didn't matter. They were all chasing does like crazy. It was just hectic. Every mature buck daylighted in an open field. They were daylighting outside of the timber. They were all moving into open fields, which was pretty rare. In the end, the net displacement, the total yards traveled, everything is the same. Even if it was 90 degrees all day long, or even if that cold front moved in the middle of the day, what's shifting is the time frame that they're capable of moving in.
There you have it. So this reel, I didn't say it. This reel did 336,000 as of the time of this reading. Got shared a whole bunch. And man, Derek's channel, if you haven't watched this, you're a deer hunter. You're probably one of the few who hasn't seen Derek's channel, because it's blown up and he's doing some really cool stuff. But man, I loved talking with him. I think what he's doing is really cool for research. Mm-hmm. And for people to kind of learn from deer. This one specifically, yeah, talking about nocturnal bucks, I think that is something that everyone, again, has heard is, yeah, I've got a buck on camera, but he's nocturnal. Like, he'll never come out in the day. I don't even have a chance at him. I got to wait till he's daylight active, and then I can go hunt. And that's, again, one of those, like, pillars of insights and knowledge within the deer hunting community. So what was your take on this one?
He's daylight active somewhere.
He's popping up somewhere.
Now, does that mean you can hunt him right where you have a camera and you feel really good about your spot? Maybe not, but he's daylight active somewhere.
Yeah.
And we called that one, part of that was kind of the October lull is a myth.
Yeah.
But we actually kind of confirmed there is a lull, and the lull is because it's hot.
The lull is because October has those warm days, those warmer temperatures, and then the swings as well.
Yeah, it's like it has the biggest variant, right? I mean, the month of October has some crazy highs and some crazy lows.
Yeah.
And that just makes deer do weird things.
And November this year.
Yeah, this year's been a weird
My
November.
goodness. What was it, 70 degrees today?
Or hotter.
On November 18th?
Yeah.
And the last couple of days have been the same?
Yeah, it's messed up Missouri's firearm opener.
Yeah.
There's not many people killed because it's hot.
I'm just
80 degrees.
saying the next cold front that comes through might be a good time to go sit in the woods.
It really might be.
Just saying.
But yeah, that one again, it made sense. That was the research kind of confirms, it's hot, so they're not going to move all day.
Yeah.
They're going to move right at the end of the day when it starts getting cool.
Yeah.
And but they are going to move.
And I think what you said too is like they're going to be active during the day somewhere, and just because it's not in front of your camera doesn't mean that it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to hunt them and kill them. Like, they may be active and just mosey around within, 100 square feet.
Yeah.
Like they may not be cruising and moving a whole bunch, but like they're not nocturnal.
Yeah, they're somewhere.
They're and so again, we get those comments. It's like, I've got deer that I only ever see on camera at night. It's like, okay, but that just means that they're awake somewhere else during the day. Your camera's just in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just interesting. And doing the thermal drone research stuff like he does, like he can actually watch them more than just a GPS collar study where it's like, yeah, that deer just stood up and moved 10 feet and then bedded back down.
Yeah, turned around and faced the other way.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Like, okay, that's even a GPS collar is probably not going to like be able to elaborate on what just happened.
Right.
So
yeah, y'all watch his channel because it's cool.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
really cool.
he watches deer all day long.
Yeah,
that's kind of his whole thing.
And he's in the Ozarks. Come on.
I know. It's awesome.
This is our guy. All right. Moving on. We have getting to shooting from the hip. Daniel does his little sound effect there. All right.
I think it's only on Instagram. You just did your own sound effect for the podcast. I'm here for it though.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's
audience. Great. Daniel doesn't have to add that now. Okay, our shooting from the hip. This is our, again, hot takes, controversial ideas, forward thinking, just anything. We're shooting from the hip.
Yeah, it's not totally thought through.
It's not
shooting from the hip.
We're just unraveling it as we go.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here's today's. We have a solution to a problem that is happening within the hunting world. the hunting community. That problem is something that we have now talked about several times, and you've heard talked about several times, and it is CWD. Now, before you throw me out the window here, CWD is an issue whether you believe in it or not, because it's either an issue because it's a scam and a ploy and a conspiracy and all that stuff, or it's an issue because it's a real thing and it's a disease. Either side of the fence you fall on, CWD's a problem because it's out there and people are talking about it, and that's all that everybody wants to talk about.
Or it's not out there and it's a conspiracy, but people are still talking about it, which makes it a problem.
Exactly. Yes. So it's a problem, right?
Yep.
And CWD has the potential to damage hunting culture.
Yep.
And we have the solution for mitigating the effects of that negative impact. And that solution is ultimately we need to develop, or we need someone much smarter than us to develop an in-field rapid test for CWD in deer that hunters can have in their pack. And whenever they shoot a deer, they can take a blood sample, do some of the rectal testing, whatever. Don't talk to me about exactly how that would work, but like some kind of testing on the deer to get an immediate or very quick response or result of whether that deer has CWD or not. Why do we need this? I'll tell you. I'm glad you asked, Kyle.
Why do we need this?
There's three things, and there's probably more, but the three things that I thought of was, one, the first thing is, people want to know, if they say not to eat a CWD positive deer, even though there have been no known cases of CWD transferring from cervids to humans, they still say not to eat it because it's a potential. It could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one, people want to know, does this deer have CWD or not? If it does, I don't want to eat it, and I don't want to go through the hours of work that it's going to take to process this deer. Because, usually like on a day we went out, and I'll tell this story in a little bit, but my brother and I went out and we killed a couple does, and, it's a great morning. We had a lot of fun, but then, we spend the next several hours processing these two does, breaking them down, putting them into bags, putting them away, storing them and all that stuff. And so, yeah, if you're not going to be able to eat the deer, and especially as it's spreading in Northwest Arkansas or down by the buffalo, if 50% of deer and 70% of bucks have it, more than likely you're gonna have a deer that you've harvested that's going to be positive. So you're going to go through all this work, and you're going to have to throw it out, more than likely in those specific places. So people don't want to do that. So that's problem number one. Is it just takes a long time to process a deer that you might have to throw away. Problem number two is it takes too long to get CWD results back right now, at least here.
Yeah, weeks.
In a lot of places, it's like a 2 to 3 week process. And that's not anybody's fault. I know, like, our friends at AGFC and MDC, they are working their butt off, and they are trying to get those test results back to you as fast as they can. But there is just a certain amount of time it takes for them to move through that many deer. So it's no shade on them, but it just takes too long. It's 2 to 3 weeks. And then the last thing is, for those 2 to 3 weeks that it's taking for you to get your CWD results back, you've now tied up a tag, because you had to tag that deer. And if it was a buck or if it was a doe, you've tied up a tag. So if you're at your limit and that was your last deer, you can't hunt for 2 to 3 weeks. And if it comes back positive, yes, you get your tag back, and that's all great, but you can't hunt for that time that you're waiting on your results to get back. And now you've just sat there through the rut, and you've missed the best time to be out there in the deer woods hunting. And so what we need is an immediate, is an infield rapid test for CWD that would essentially be like, you go and shoot a deer, you go walk up to it, you do a quick sample, might take a few minutes to read, like some kind of blood sample, and it gives you an initial read on positive or negative. You can then take the picture of it, upload it into the app that you're checking, your like Game and Fish app or whatever that you're checking it, and say positive or negative. If it's positive, you immediately get your tag back. So you don't burn a tag, you're not tying it up. You have your result. And also, too, you're now not working on that carcass, and you're not spreading and moving the carcass or doing any kind of moving. You can leave it right where it is to slow the spread, stop the spread, and leave it right where it is, and not risk spreading it.
It's a good solution.
I don't know how it happens.
I don't know either.
But I think that's where we need to get to. So, like, someone's going to, if CWD is the problem that they're saying it is, that we're seeing in the results of the science, ultimately, like, that's gonna, I see that as kind of a necessary thing in places where people are like, if I have to now kill 3 deer to get one that I can keep, and now, so you go through your season and maybe you killed 3 deer and all of them were positive, and so now you're just like, I'm done hunting because I'm tired of cleaning deer that I can't eat and put them in my freezer just to throw all that meat away, which as a conservationist and as a hunter, it feels wrong.
Oh, it feels terrible.
It feels so wasteful.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the opposite of what we're trying to do. It just, I just think that, like, we need to have that. Some scientists, some brainiacs need to help us.
Well, and so having some infield testing means you're also not going to have deer from a CWD zone potentially making it out of a CWD zone into a place that there isn't CWD.
Right.
And it could be that you're driving it to a processor and you didn't know any better, and now the processor is dumping deer bones that's positive and all the stuff. Or it could be that, you're bringing your buck head to the taxidermist, and now the brain matter makes it next to the taxidermy shop, and next thing you know, it's starting there. All of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's not a zombie disease. It's not like spread through the air or whatever.
It feels like it though.
But you could see how you could pretty quickly go from zones that have it. Deer make it into zones where they don't have it.
Yeah.
Whether it's being spread naturally as deer move, or it's being spread by hunters. And so if you could have an infield test, then you're gonna mitigate a lot of that. Where all of a sudden you're not dragging a half carcass or a not fully deboned carcass or whatever, pieces, whatever, into a spot where it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, there are prototypes. Like this is an idea, but I think. Like, I was just reading something at the University of Minnesota, like they are developing some of these prototypes for like results that you get within 24 hours and closer things. So I think it's just like continuing to invest. The people who are the people who would say like, well, we're spending too much money on like testing or all this other stuff. Like, okay, well, let's put some of that money towards like these rapid tests instead of other testing or research or something like that, which I'm not saying this, but I'm just like, I think if we could funnel some effort into developing some of this and putting that into the pockets in the hands of hunters who are actually out in the field. And on top of that, you're getting now a massive data sample.
Huge.
If you could get like every hunter to like have that and now they could know whether or not they can eat this meat like right there, and they have to put that in the app, like you're now getting a huge sample of like where it is, where it's not, the prevalence, and you don't have to like fund other research studies and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely a culture shift.
Yeah.
You don't think about having to do a rapid test on an animal that you kill, but hey, if you get a bear, you got to send in a tooth and some hair. If you get a deer, maybe someday you got to send in a CWD sample.
Yeah.
Or upload it to the app or whatever.
Maybe so. Right or wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I'm for it or I like it or anything like that. I wish it just didn't exist. I wish it wasn't there. I wish it wasn't a problem. But like, yes, maybe that's the best world
It's a good shooting from the hip
that we can hope for.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it home. Check station.
Some true check station.
What the hey have you been up to out there, man?
Man, a good bit. I've got 2 check station stories.
Okay, I've got one.
You got one?
Yeah.
You want to sandwich this thing?
You go, I go, you go?
That works.
All right.
Okay, so story 1. We hosted a Halloween deer camp, and my 4-year-old was thrilled to death, although she was sad that we weren't going to trick or treat. So we trick or treated at deer camp, meaning she would walk up to the cabin and we'd open the door multiple times and give her candy. But we were looking forward to it. It was me and my family, and y'all have heard me talk about, and he's been on the show before on a check station in the past, but Joe Massey and his family, big deer hunter and great friend, and then some another family who I don't really have permission to talk about him by name on the podcast, so I won't. But he's getting into hunting and like comes from family from Colorado and has a brother who's way into elk hunting, all that kind of stuff. And then his wife, who's also expecting, is like super pregnant. They were going to come out with us too. And so it's a really fun dynamic of like kids running around, first time, parents expecting, and it's kind of like, how far away is this place from a hospital? Whatnot.
Let's keep the pregnant lady safe.
Yeah, make sure we're good here, and we're gonna deer hunt. We're gonna eat s'mores, and we're gonna stay up late and hang out. And it's gonna be a good time. So Joe and I went into it thinking two things. One, that there's a really, really, really big deer that we have on camera, and we've been watching him on camera, and we've been hunting for him. And we can't get him in our sights as we're hunting, but he's out there. And so that was kind of target number one. Target number two was any healthy deer that was within bow range was going to get it.
Yeah.
Because we wanted some deer meat.
Right.
So that's kind of what we went into it going into, and Joe had his spot picked out, and I had this spot way down at the river bottom, and I was going to hunt it in the morning, even though thermals aren't in my favor. I was close enough to a creek, is like, surely I can make this work. Well, the wind was perfect, towards blowing in my face into the creek, and I'm at this bottom where all these mountains converge, and it's just, it's a deer highway. Thick, brushy, scraggly, steep Ozark hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And I've loved this spot forever, but I've never killed a deer from this spot because normally the deer see me or they smell me. And this time I was thinking, I'm going to get in there super early, and I got a good spot with cover. I'm going to be in a saddle, and it's going to happen. Just felt like a good morning. So I'm out there before daylight in the dark, and sun starts to come up, and I pull out my rangefinder, and I've been hunting for about 15 total minutes. And I start ranging different spots around, making the mental map of where a deer is going to show up and how it's going to show up and where I'd shoot. And as I'm ranging, I look through my rangefinder, and there's a buck.
There.
It's standing 33 yards.
There you go.
Right where I could shoot him.
That's what we like to see.
And so my rangefinder is on a little tether, so I just dropped it and got my bow. And 33 plus a little bit of change, I imagine, shot that dropped that deer where he stood.
There you go.
Let me just say this. It was a great shot. it left to right, perfect. Like exactly where you wanted the arrow to go, right?
Yeah.
Up and down, perfect. Except for he ducked. And at 35-ish yards, 33 to 35-ish yards, with an arrow as heavy and slow as I shoot, I forget how much a deer will duck. And so I put it right where you should put it, and he ducked into it more than I was hoping. And he dropped right where he was because it spined him.
Yeah.
And he was toast.
Yeah, that'll do it.
He was way toast.
That'll do it.
But yeah.
So you finally killed a deer in that spot?
Yeah, like
after
been hunting
your
that
whole
spot for like 15 years to try to get a deer out of it, and it's never happened.
Yeah.
And it finally happened on a beautiful Halloween, last day of October, bow morning in the Ozarks. The leaves were orange and yellow, and the river was flowing behind me, and it was foggy, and it was cold, and it was awesome.
Yes.
It was just awesome.
The leaves were great this year.
They're gorgeous.
Beautiful. They're still pretty out there.
They are.
Man.
So yeah, loaded them up, and I brought home venison.
There you go.
It was great. We skinned them out, built up a big fire. My kids were eating s'mores, watching me skin a deer. I was like, this is deer camp.
This is life.
And I'm passing it on to the next generation. My son was like, he can walk but not talk all that well. He's still baby, still small.
He's a smart kid though.
But I'll play this video. He can say deer.
For anyone listening, he's a smart kid. He just can't talk because he's a baby.
Well, yeah, he's an infant. But this is our friend holding him, and she's asking, Riggs, what is that? And you just got to hear his little voice. We'll see if this picks up. Riggs, what is that? Wait, sorry, that was me saying it. And then she says, what is
Deja
that?
vu.
Here we go. Riggs, what is that?
What is that? Deer.
Deal.
Beautiful.
So he's learned the word deer
There you go.
because he sees a deer hanging in our living room and points to it all the time. But he was thrilled to death.
Yeah,
Like
I
he
bet he
wouldn't
was.
get away from it.
I
So
bet.
yeah, good. I mean, check station number 1.
That's good.
Check to game animal.
Passing it on, man. That's great. I know the spot that you were sitting in. I've sat there. I've seen a big old buck down there during bow season when I should have been rifle hunting. Or no, it was during rifle season and I was bow hunting because I just really wanted to kill a big buck with a bow. And a big old 8-point walked out at 70 yards. And I couldn't do anything.
You just watched him chase a doe for like 10 minutes,
Oh,
right?
dude,
You
it was brutal. I heard him grunting too, like coming in. It was one of those amazing, like magic mornings.
Mhm.
And yeah, I never had a chance at him. But that's a tough spot to get him because yeah, you're down in that bottom. Stuff swirls. Thermals are pulling down in there. So congrats.
It was a good hunt. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I've got one. So man, honestly, this year, I've not been hunting as much as I would like to. I'm ashamed to admit it, but life gets busy. Started a new job, got a lot of stuff going on. The podcast is growing, and so it's just not been as much. However, on the opening weekend of rifle season, I took my brother out. My brother, he's a couple years older than me, and he and I we grew up the same way. Grew up in the Ozarks. When we were little, we were always on the river. I've talked about the Mulberry River. We floated a lot. We squirrel hunted. We rabbit hunted. We killed birds. But my dad wasn't a big game hunter. Never was a big deer hunter. So I didn't really get into it until high school, and then into college. Going with friends and go with friends' dads and guys like you and stuff like that. And my brother really didn't get the same experience. So you kind of have these like. He's very into the outdoors, very interested, but just didn't really get the experience that I got.
Mhm.
And so it was fun to take my older brother to go deer hunt for the first time. I think he went maybe one time when he was like 13 with one of Dad's friends, and they didn't kill anything. But this was basically like taking my older brother on his first deer hunt, which was just kind of wild. But it was so much fun. I enjoyed it so much, and so he's been talking to me. He's just like, I'm interested. I want to learn more. I want to get into it. I was like, all right, let's go. And so, we start real early and we start heading out to the spot that we're going to go hunt. And on the way out there, I'm just trying to I'm trying to remember back to like the first time someone took me hunting. Like, what were they telling me? What does he need to know? I'm just going through the basics. And you kind of forget over time, like how much you've learned that it's just like second nature to you now, that you now have to explain of like, well, this is why we do this and this is this and you got to do this. And, if the wind's pushing this way, you kind of want to be over here. So you don't want to be upwind of them and all that stuff. So on the 45-hour long drive that we're heading out there, I'm kind of just walking through the 101 and he's excited. I've got extra camo that I'm giving to him that I've it's all been kept in scent controlled containers. And so we change at the spot and we start walking in and we're walking quiet and slow and we get set up and the sun comes up, shooting light happens. And like right away we see deer and so early on, there's this little like forked horn that walks out. And we're sitting on the ground on this ridge, and this really high traffic area, like corridor, is 20, 30 yards in front of us. It's kind of this little clearing, but it's a good like pinch point almost in transition. So we're sitting up the ridge. These deer are going right in front of us, 20, 30 yards away. We're sitting on the ground, and it's just a fun hunt. We're sitting right next to each other. So this forked horn walks out. And like right away, he's like snapped to the gun and he's like right in the scope. He's like, should I shoot this one? I was like, no. Hold on. Wait, we just start, we're like 5 minutes into the shooting line.
I love that.
He's just ready to go. And I was like, no. Just like, let's watch that one. And I'm, no judgment. If you like shooting forked horns, power to you. But I was just like, let's wait because it's early. So forked horn walks by. And I was like, all right, that's good, man. You got your scope on him, you saw. So we're sitting there a little bit longer, and all of a sudden I'm looking over to the left, and he's like, God, to the right. And we look right. and there's a doe coming, like good, healthy, mature, fat doe, walks out of the woods, kind of behind these cedars over here. Like we're tucked up in the brush a little bit, which is good for our concealment, but you can't really see everything. So this big fat doe walks out, and I'm watching, and I'm just like, I've got my binos up. It's not far, but I'm just really trying to make sure that it's not a button buck, because I want him to be like, feel really good about like, I got a doe. It was a buck. Not that experience. And so I'm looking really close at this doe, and I'm like, okay, it's a doe. I'm like, okay, Connor, get ready. Whenever she walks out from behind that cedar, like you be on her. And I put my binos down, and Connor goes, should I shoot? And he's aimed in a different direction, and he's pointing, and there's a fawn like 5 yards in front of us that I totally didn't see because I was looking at this doe through the binos. And he's like lined up on this fawn. Oh, and he was so ready to pull the hammer. And I was like, no, that's a fawn. Don't shoot it. And then the fawn like saw us, and it spooked off and ran. And so those ran off. There ended up being 3 deer right there, and I was just looking at the one. So they ran away, and now he's kind of like, he's ridden this roller coaster of the morning, like excitement with the forked horn. Don't shoot, I didn't get a chance. Now this, and he feels like he messed it up, I think, because the fawn saw us or something like that. It's like, nah, don't worry about it. We got time. So we keep going, and I think, it was probably like 20 minutes later, a single doe walks out. It might have been one of the one from that group of 3, because the fawn saw us, but they never blew or anything like that. They never winded us. They just ran off. And I think one of those doe circled back around and came out from a very similar place, and just walked right into the clearing, turned broadside to quartering away a little bit, right at 20, 25 yards. He lined it up, and boom, just made a textbook shot, especially on a quartering away. Like you would kind of think maybe that's a little far back, but you got to think through that travel through. Yep. Just perfect shot. And that deer didn't run 20 yards. We didn't see her crash, but like shot looked good. I saw blood even like from the shot. And so he shoots it, and then like 10 seconds later, he turns to me. He's like, should we go get her? I was like, okay, that's another thing. Like, usually you let him wait. You wait just a little bit. That was a great shot. I'm sure that deer's dead, but like, let's just give it a second. We'll give it 30 minutes or so, and then we'll go look. And so I was like, in the meantime, hand me the gun just in case something else walks out. A big buck walks by. And so we're sitting there, and then like literally 15 minutes later, another doe comes from the same direction, actually. And I actually heard this doe before I saw it. She was bleeding. She was just like, doe bleat, doe bleat, doe bleat. And I was like, that's kind of rare. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what I hear. I was like, Connor, do you hear that? And he couldn't like pick it out of all the noises. I was like, oh, there's a doe coming. And sure enough, she walked right by where his doe was. And I think she was bleeding at the dead doe over there. Or the smell of it all or anything like that. And so she walks out, and she's cruising, and then kind of picks up to a trot. And I stop her with a meh. She didn't hear me. So I go, meh, stopped her, boom, dropped her.
2 does in the morning.
2 does.
That's great.
Within 15 minutes, shooting a rifle, like you'd kind of think like, oh, you boogered it up after making all that noise. And they don't care. They don't care. So
no, they don't.
Yeah. So that was my brother's first deer hunt.
Got them all skinned up and processed, and
yep, got them all skinned up and taken back to the house, processed, put away. We did take those 2 to be tested, and they both came back negative, and so we're good to go.
That's awesome.
Got them ready to eat in the freezer. Gonna make some jerky here, maybe next weekend.
Do you do thin slice jerky, or you grind it and then squeeze it?
I like doing my favorite venison jerky is whole meat, like whole muscle, thin sliced. But I've never actually made like the grind to a jerky gun to squeeze it out and stuff like that. That stuff is good. I like that. But I think my favorite is like, I really like the kind of tough cowboy jerky.
Yeah.
Like dry.
You gotta gnaw on it, pull on it.
I really like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
Yeah.
That's way good.
Yeah.
Guess my final check station is busted out the old skeef canoe and did a deer hunt out of it.
Oh yeah, what a canoe!
And it was great fun, and nothing was harvested.
Oh man. Oh man, the maiden voyage. I guess it wasn't the maiden voyage, but for deer camp,
This
it
is a
was.
maiden hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went with my brother Jacob and buddy Jack Barclay out of the Ozarks.
Look at you.
I had a few criteria as to what we were looking for. We were looking for floatable water because it had been raining. Like I wanted some water.
Yeah.
So I wanted to use the outboard,
Mm-hmm.
which meant I also wanted a river that would allow motor. So like not the buffalo. And I wanted plenty of national forests and public land. So we found ourselves a river covered in public land and went on a hunt. And here's the progression of events. I'll just give kind of a general overview. So find the spot at camp. And I show up a couple hours, set up camp, and then Jacob and Jack are both coming from work later, and they're going to make it out after dark, right? And they make it to camp and got a fire going, tent set up, and I was going to sleep in a hammock. And the hammock that I set up to sleep in during turkey season, I'd put a little rip in it by sleeping in my boots. And it had held up until this point, but I literally jumped in the hammock just as a test run and ripped it and fell out of it.
Oh no!
So I was really glad that I brought my tent.
Okay.
And so I ditched the hammock.
I've got an extra for you.
Extra hammock?
You can have it.
Oh man, it's a great day.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. And so that hammock's toast.
Yeah.
And pulled out the tent. They show up, and my thought was, let's go put the boat in with the motor down at this put-in that I found where it's easy access, and we'll drive it up in the dark to right by camp so we can just get in it and float tomorrow. Because like what I wanted to do was get in the boat and float, and you can't hunt from a boat in Arkansas,
Right.
but you can spot deer and then go after them.
Yeah.
And so in my head, it was going to be there's some deer far away and you can see them, and then you can get out and make a stalk or something like that. Or like a lot of times in the rut, they're just running around on the riverbanks and you can get out and hunt kind of deal. And so we put the boat in, and on the drive up, Jacob and I both realized that the spot we had found for the water was way too low for an outboard.
Yeah.
And we end up dragging / pushing / paddling this canoe upriver for only a few hundred yards, but it felt like a few miles in the dark. My headlamp failed at one point, so he throws me his and is using his phone flashlight at the front of the boat.
Gosh.
The props chewing up on rocks. I'm like, crap, I'm going to break this thing before we even start.
And we're going to fall into this cold water.
Fall into the water, and it's dark, and nobody knows where we are, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. And we finally get it up to where Jack had driven the truck back to camp so he could find us on the riverbank and help us find where we're going to park. And we finally get it up there, and I'm thinking this is just not going to work for where we are. There's not enough water here. We got to go further downriver where there's more water. And we make the call that night to go ahead and get the boat out of the water. And rather than do the wise thing, which is just pull the motor up and float downriver back to the put-in, drive the truck over, we thought we can huff this thing up the mountain. Like, we can carry this skeef canoe that's 17 feet long up the side of the hill.
Yeah.
Surely it's not that hard.
It is a light canoe.
It is.
But
It's also that hard.
But it is.
We were camping. Bluff is a strong word, but it's not the wrong word. At the top of the bluff.
Yeah.
And the river was down at the bottom. And so we had this kind of goat path that was going to get us down to the water.
That is steep country down there.
Steep. And I end up carrying the motor halfway up before I need Jack's help to grab the other side, and we carry it together. And then the two of us get the boat out of the water and pulled up the mountain.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I wish somebody was there just to take video because it was pretty hysterical.
Yeah, but that was epic.
And all that happened because my brother had injured his Achilles and was in a boot and couldn't do anything.
Boot walker.
So,
Yeah.
that 2-hour segment was him at the front of the boat not being all that much help because he can't move his leg. And then him not being any help to pull the boat out of the water and back up to camp to put it back on the truck to go hunt somewhere else. And so it was hilarious. But we go the next morning, get up early, and and we go and put in where there's more water, and we're gonna hunt. And we end up doing some floating and scouting and you know, glassing from the boat. And dude, there's ducks flying over, and it's gorgeous. And it felt not like Arkansas. It was just cool,
just pretty.
And we get out of the boat at one point and decide to all take off different directions and see what we can strike up. Like we'll hunt for 3 hours and come back, and we'll continue to paddle the rest of the, like, probably 4 miles or 3.5 miles back to where we left a truck, because we knew we were going to shuttle this day. And then the next days we'll just put the motor on it and run up and forth, up and down the river. And I end up stalking from the ground. I'm hunting with this new Marlin 30-30, like lever action without a scope. So I just wanted to kind of like old school it, right? I mean, hike around, look for sign, hope to jump up deer, make some shots. Jack ends up seeing a really big deer, but doesn't take a shot at it because he's a bowman. Like he doesn't do the rifle thing all that much. And so he gets back to camp. He's like, man, it was kind of a harder quartering away shot. Man, it was like 65 yards, like pretty far. And Jacob and I are both like, that's not far.
You're like, that's not pretty perfect.
Not with a rifle, with a scope. Like you take that shot. So he's kicking himself on that. And
that's
we're
tough.
figuring it out.
Real
like,
quick, I get that because
it's real.
I've been there, like starting out bow hunting, then to switch to rifle hunting. You forget that like it really is just as easy as lifting your gun, looking through the scope, and squeezing the trigger.
Yeah, like there is the deer, you can shoot.
Yeah,
it.
like even if he's like way over there through the trees and the leaves, like you can probably kill that.
Especially in the Ozarks, you're not making hundreds of yards of shot. I mean, it's if you see him, you can get him. For the most part.
So no shade to you, Jack. I get it. I've
not at all. But of course, we're giving him grief.
You got to. You got
pull
to
the boat back in, and man, it's a great like scouting day. You know, the rest of the day we paddle and we paddle and we paddle, and we're seeing sign and we're seeing critters and we're seeing all kind of birds, and it's seeing turkeys and ducks and hearing deer and seeing deer far off, but way too far to do anything with, and end up back to camp and throw the boat back in the water after we shuttle it, put the motor on it, and then we drive to spots that evening. We hunt. No deer were seen. So then the next day, they strike out on their own because I end up driving back home because I'm preaching on Sunday. So that was Saturday night, I guess. Yeah, opener. And preach that morning, get back in the truck, drive back to camp, and hunt that evening. Seeing deer, but it's like no legal deer because the 3-point rule. I'm seeing a bunch of forked horns and spikes and all that kind of stuff. And then the next morning we get up early and we've got our spot staked out, and we're gonna drive the boat or ford the river with the boat, or somebody's gonna take the boat, drop people off, go farther out. And this was a full day, all day hunting. Like we're in the woods all day. We're not gonna see each other kind of day.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Quick plug. I started the day off with some coffee that was sent to us by roasters out of Little Rock, but Kill Shot.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're not paying for this. I just wanted to plug them because they make a cool huntsman roast, but then also have stuff for duck hunting and stuff for Christmas, and it's kind of a outdoorsy brand.
Yeah.
And
that was fueling the trip.
Well, it was fueling it because I hadn't busted into it yet, and the thought was I'm going to be in the woods all day, and we're not eating anything. We're only drinking water, because the whole idea of the hunt too was we're not going to bring food because we were going to kill deer.
Yeah, y'all were really like.
So we were like, coffee was going to kill me, but I needed it. I needed it for the day.
That was going to be your only sustenance.
So yeah, check that out.
Got a big old buck on there.
Just wanted to shout out to Kill Shot real quick because they make some good coffee.
Yeah,
and I appreciate them sending me some stuff because they reached out on Instagram, and we both now like kind of checked our brands out mutually, and these guys are cool. So sent that to me, and making some coffee, take off in the boat, do our thing, and I get in the tree. I'm in this incredible spot, and I'm having small buck after small buck after small buck run by me, and then I have a big bobcat that comes up, and I have a bobcat in the sights, 35 yards, ready to go, and I kid you not, as I'm going to squeeze the trigger, a buck comes up behind it.
No way.
So I get off of the bobcat to go to the buck because I don't know what this deer is.
Yeah.
Here's a deer.
Yeah.
I'm deer hunting. I don't want to eat a bobcat. I want to eat a deer. and it's a 4-point. It's another small buck.
Oh man,
They're just cruising, man. Like there's no stopping them. They're like I found just a spot.
Yeah,
and they're just in and out, and so I can't shoot that one. And by then the bobcat's gone. So then I hunt until midday, and I'm thinking, well, two things happened. The wind switched, so I'm thinking about Brian.
Thinking
I gotta
about
make
Brian.
a move, and I was tired of sitting in my saddle, and I was freezing because that was the morning that it got down to 22 degrees or whatever. And so being in one spot was just not doing it for me anymore. So I climbed down, pack up all my stuff, and I go on just a scouting mission. And I end up on the ground in front of more, yet again, small bucks in different spots, 3 different times. Where I'm, at one point, I'm not joking, I'm standing in the middle of this clearing, and I'm looking at my Onyx on the phone, and I'm trying to figure out a game plan. And I hear something, and I look up, and there's a buck coming at me. It's like 17 yards away. Just walking around,
man.
Nose to the ground, what a little spike. All right, another deer I could have shot, but can't.
Yeah.
Hike up the mountain, start hearing something, so I get down on my knees, gun ready to go. Direction they're coming, 2 more small bucks pass by. I could have poked them with the end of my gun.
My goodness.
But I felt one with the woods. Like the whole day was just I'm in my element.
Yeah.
And I'm not busting deer. Deer are moving. Things are happening. This is just fun. Bunch of turkeys come in at one point. Some more deer come in at one point. At different spots I'm moving. I end up back in a tree and hunted out. And then end up actually back at a tree for the evening, overlooking a new ridge point and kind of a new flat. And right as it's getting dark, a whole bunch of noise and a whole massive big bodied deer steps out. And I pull up my gun to shoot it, not knowing what it was, but knowing it was a big deer. And forgot that I don't have a scope on this gun, so I didn't have any light help. And it was right at that time of like the last 2 minutes of legal light. And I'm in some thick canopy stuff, and there was no help from a scope to make it show up.
Yeah.
And iron sights in the dark are nothing.
You're just looking through that tiny little hole.
You're just looking at black on black, aiming at black kind of thing. So that was into that.
Yeah.
And ended up seeing some turkeys on the way out again, and hearing more animals and spooking up deer, I'm sure, and cross the river, and Jack comes back in the boat, and we're hearing all the stories, and end up going into town to buy hot dogs and beans because we were starving. And,
I need to eat
because we had not eaten anything in days. And next morning going to hunt, don't see anything, kind of wraps it up. And that wraps that.
Yeah.
So I hunted new spots, new area, place I've never been, found a bunch of deer, and ran into a guy that claims he's seen Bigfoot 5 different times and also has seen what else has he seen? Oh, Black Panther.
Oh.
So good
In
old boy,
Arkansas.
who's seen a Black Panther and Bigfoot. He's hunted Bigfoot apparently.
Okay.
And he has stories and pictures, so he says.
All right.
So I have his contact information.
I like this
and
guy.
If we need to find him for next Halloween, I think we should.
Let's get him on the pod.
Yeah, man. He's hunted Bigfoot.
I love it.
Truly.
Anyone who's hunted Bigfoot can come on this show.
He kind of freaked me out. He showed up at Jacob and Jack had left camp, and I was packing up the final stuff. So I'm by myself in the middle of the woods, and a Bronco painted camo, very loud, rolls up into camp, and it's just facing me, and it's just stopped. And so I'm kind of standing there thinking, I don't love this.
This is not the best place I'd like to be right now.
I know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be here and see what's going on. So like any good human, I figure out what's going on and chat with him and try to figure out.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, like are you a threat?
Are
What's
you going to kill me?
And
let's figure that out quick.
Just turns out to be just a good old boy who's been in those hills more than just about anybody.
Yeah. I love it. I love those kind of guys.
Me too. Was friendly, wanted to talk, was interested as to what we were doing and how we were doing, and was asking how long we were going to be there because he wanted to go through there at some point, but he didn't want to mess us up. Really appreciate it. He's really being kind.
Nice.
And then started telling Bigfoot and Panther stories, and then I was hooked. We talked for about an hour.
I love it. That's fun, man.
That was camp.
Good. Sounds like a great camp, a great hunt. Going out there, I love that you guys were like, we're not going to eat unless we harvest our.
I don't
own
recommend
food.
it. We're like, we're not doing it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I think anytime you're exploring new country and like going to new places, the adventure is like so much of the fun of it. And then doing it with friends and being in camp to like come back together and tell stories and swap and just talk about the day. I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
Next year we'll get a deer down. We'll make that a bigger camp.
Yeah.
And
maybe we'll open it up to the holler. That's kind of nod to the holler. That's our people. Those are our community of Ozarkers who love hunting and fishing and doing what we do.
that'd be fun.
And that'd be a good time to get everybody together.
Be real fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hope you all are enjoying Thanksgiving break and enjoy tomorrow with your family and your people. And hope if you're deer hunting, you're safe and also killing big old bucks or big old does, whatever you're into.
That's right.
And yeah, thanks for listening. We love doing this. We also never know how to wrap it because it's never a guest where we just say thanks.
Yeah.
And that was that. So
I'll thank you. Thank you, Kyle, for being on here tonight.
well, Kyle, thank you for being on here tonight as well.
Appreciate you, buddy. To our listeners, thank you guys for joining us. It's always fun getting to tell stories and talk about stuff going on in the Ozarks. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you on the next one.